like this.
That's great. So what we are going to do is we are going to enhance it from here. So there are certain things which we will do. Okay. So first thing, I think we are ready with the pick list thing. All right. Pick list we have done. So we might be having a pick list for city and state and country. Have you designed, have you done pick list for city and state, or how is that?
Yes, I did.
State. Okay. And country. Okay. Now what happens is, in this kind of a situation, now we just have a few options for city, and then we have just put a few options for state, and then we have a few for country, right? But what may happen at times is you want, for example, you are dealing in 4 different countries, 50 different states, and 200 different cities. Don't you think if pick list shows 200 options here, it will become too very difficult for the end user to select, right? So what we need here is dependent pick list, which means okay, make the state pick list dependent on country, so that if someone selects a particular country, he should only have the options of the states under that country to be selected for state. All right. So how do we do this? For example, I have one Canada, India, Russia, UK, US. Okay. For state, what state we have? We have all these 3 US states. All right. Let me put a few more options in state. Let me put a few Indian states. So where do I go to customize this? Setup, create, and project object. Setup, create objects. Name of the object is project.
It will be in client, won't it?
Sorry? Sorry. Client. I'm really sorry. Yeah, client object. So first of all, let me add a few more options in the state pick list. Okay. For state. Okay. So these pick list values also you should decide. For, let's say for country, I will have India and US. For state, I will have something here, and from India I will have, let's say, Delhi, Karnataka, Maharashtra. That's it. So these 3 states I will have from US and 3 from India. So let me just correct the data that way. So you can go to the country field. There's already a pick list, so just go to the country field and remove the values that you don't want. For example, if you do not want certain values here, you can always delete them. I don't want Canada to be here. We'll delete it. I don't want the US, or I don't want UK and Russia to be there. So let me delete this. Russia also should not be there. Delete it. Okay, so I just have two countries here. Now I'll go to the state, edit the value for state. So you can go to state. Click on new to add more values. Okay, so 3 more values added. Right. Okay. I'm doing it for the country and state. You can then do a dependent pick list for state and city on your own. Okay, so you can add those values and all. So now what needs to be done? There is a field dependency which needs to be added in this object. Okay, so for field dependency, you just have to go to that particular object, the client object. And where you create a new field, beside that you will have an option of field dependency. Okay, so just go ahead and click on field dependencies. Now you define a new field dependency. Okay, which one is your controlling field and which is the dependent field? In this case, I want to create a field dependency between country and state, right? So out of country and state, which is dependent, which is controlling?
Country is controlling field.
State is dependent.
Yeah.
Correct. Click on continue. Now you get this kind of an interface where you just have to decide which state falls under which country. So, and you can just select it. You can press control, you can use control plus click to select multiple. So 3 under India and 3 under US. That's it, and include the values. So this yellow mark shows the included value. So under India, these 3 are included. Under US, these 3 are included. That is how simple it is. Save it. Now, once the end user tries to enter a client information, clicks on new. See, state option is not available till the time you don't select a country. Depends on country. So first of all, you should select the country, then only you will have the option of selecting the state. Select India. Only Indian states are appearing. You select US, then only US states are appearing. Right now, you can do the same thing for the state and city also, right? Or anywhere else, wherever you want to define this kind of thing. Clear? So field dependency is the first thing that we are going to talk. So I want you to create make city field dependent on state. So maybe after this session you can do this. Okay. So this is one option. Now that's about field dependency. Now coming to the relationships. So we have seen that there are a few more fields which are there at the top. So there are a few fields which are just about data. The date, time, text, number field, and URL field. Can you have the microphones on mute, please? There is a bit of continuous noise. Okay. All right. So a few fields are there which are the general data types, and then there are few fields which are. Sridhar, I did mute you. Can you just mute your microphone? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So there's another field type which is called relationship field, right? What is a relationship field? The relationship field is a field that connects one record from a certain object to the other object's record, like an account field on contact, right? So this field will connect a certain contact with an account. Now here I need that relationship field for projects. Let's see if we have a project relationship field. We don't have. Okay, when you get a project, since you have clients listed, don't you think you will need to connect the project with a client? So one important field that we are missing here on the project object is the client field. Why I need a client field here? So that we can understand that project has come from which client. Is it from IBM, or is it from Wipro, or is it from Dell? Which client has given us that project, right? So this is going to be a relationship field. Okay. So there are two types of relationship field. There are two types of relationship field that we have in Salesforce. One is called a lookup, which is a general relationship field. And the other one is called a master detail, which is a special relationship field. So this is a special type of relationship field. Okay, special type of relationship field, when I say, I mean it has a few special attributes. Alright. So first thing, you should just focus on the lookup relationship field. Okay, don't worry about the master detail relationship at this point of time. You can just avoid this for now. Okay, because I don't want you to get confused with the special attributes and stuff like that. So you would see while you're creating a relationship field, you will see there is something called master detail. Don't worry about that. Just leave it. Forget about that. Just for now, you only lookup relationship field exists. So you should always create a lookup relationship field. We will talk about master detail relationship, a little later. Alright. So don't be bothered about master detail. It is just a special type of relationship which comes with some default attributes. Alright. So nothing else. So once you are a little familiar with the lookup relationship, you can definitely get into the master relationship thing. Yeah, Swati, you have a question? Swati, you there? You have a question to ask? Okay, fine. No worries, thanks. So that's about relationships, okay? Now, how do you create relationship? It's pretty simple. The relationship field needs to be created on project. So let me create a lookup relationship to connect project with the client. So for that, again, I have to go to setup, and then I have to go to create, and then I have to go to objects, the client object, and say new custom field. Alright. So new custom field, when we do that, you see there are two relationship fields. I told you that there is a lookup relationship, master detail relationship. It's a special type of parent-child relationship. I told you, as we discussed, master detail relationship. Don't need to worry about that. Okay. What master detail relationship is, you don't need to get into that. For you at this point of time, there's just one type of relationship, which is lookup. So just work on that. All right. It has a few additional attributes, which is very easy to understand. So first of all, let's see what a relationship field and how it is created. So you select the data type as lookup relationship, go to next. Now this field should be used for This field should be used for connecting to other object, right? What other object? Which object
Project.
am I? No. Project object is something which I. Oh, why am I
Project
creating
of
this?
the
Sorry,
client.
sorry, sorry. You guys are not helping me do this correctly. Why am I creating the field on client? I should be creating it on which object?
Project.
I should be creating it on project, right?
Yeah.
So just keep keep an eye on what I'm doing. I'm doing things incorrect. So you guys have to guide me. So we go to objects and then we go to project object. All right. So your data model will always help you understand that on which object you have the field to be created. Though there is a relationship between client and project which is being created here, but your field relationship field will be created on the project. Okay. So because it's the project which needs the reference of a client. It's not the client who needs the reference of your project, right? So that is it. So go to the project object and create a relationship field. New lookup relationship field. Click on next. And it's related to client.
Client.
Right. Exactly. Now we are good. So that's it. The rest everything is same. Okay. So you just give a label for the field, you define a name for the field, if you have a description for internal use and stuff like that. There's an option and there's a relationship name that you give. Okay. So this relationship name is used for referring to that particular data from that object and all. This is more often used in programming. All right. So just don't worry about that again right at this point of time. Once you try to fetch some data through programming and all, that time your relationship name is something which is going to come into picture. So you can give it any name again as you wish. Okay, there is an option which says required. Okay, so do you want this relationship field to be required, which means do you want to want this field to become a mandatory field? As simple as that, right? So if you want this to be a mandatory field, make it required, otherwise it will be not required. Okay. Okay. There is one more nice thing here which says what to do if lookup record is deleted. Okay, clear the value of this field. You can't choose this option if you make this field required. Okay, and second is don't allow deletion of the lookup record, which means if the parent is being deleted, what do you want to do with the child? If one project is there which is referenced to a certain client, let's say IBM. I have a project ABCD which is a reference to IBM. Now I'm trying to delete IBM. Then what should happen with ABCD project? So you have two options. When someone deletes the parent, when someone deletes the lookup value, make the field blank. Or the other option is don't allow deletion. So don't allow the record to be deleted, saying that no, there are dependent records on this, you cannot delete. Alright, so both the options are available. Go to next. Make it visible as usual as we do, and go to next and just save it. Yeah, exactly. So Swati says it's like primary key, foreign key relationship. Exactly. So people who are aware of database terminologies would understand that. For others, who are not able to, understand primary key, foreign key thing, please understand that this is a field which is kind of a connector between these two objects. Okay. So we have created this. Now you can use this field to reference to a client for a particular project. So wherever you have a relationship, you can use this relationship field for defining those relationships. All right. So if I look into my data model now, see this client field is connecting my client with the client object. Sorry, my project with the client object. So there is a connection between these two. Now, clear? Okay, good. Now this relationship that we created, this is called a one-to-many relationship. So when we are talking about relationship, generally relationship is of different types. Any relationship, I'm not just talking about database relationship. So when we are talking about relationship between two things, there can be different types of relationship. One is one-to-one, where both the parties are loyal. So there is only one-to-one relationship. Correct? One is one-to-many, usually a parent-child kind of a relationship. Correct? Parent-child kind of a relationship where there can be a parent and there can be a child side. Okay, so if we talk about this one, this is a parent-child relationship where project is the child and client is the parent. You can get multiple projects from the client. So this is a parent-child kind of a relationship. And then there is okay, here it is. And then there is a third type of relationship which is called a many-to-many. Many-to-many is where no one is a parent, no one is a child. Both the sides are allowed to connect with multiple records on the other side. So no one is loyal. This can be a situation in database a lot of in a lot of cases. Like if project and client is one-to-many, right? You get multiple projects from one client. So it's a one-to-many. If I talk about projects and consultants, what do you think? What type of relationship is that? Is it one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many?
Many-to-many.
Why do you think it's many-to-many? I mean, your answer is correct. Don't worry about that. But why? What is the logic behind that?
We'll get multiple projects for the
One
multiple
consultant
clients.
can work. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
One
clients is not
consultant.
here.
Yeah. Sorry.
One consultant can be deployed on multiple projects, and one project can have multiple consultants working on them, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of a many-to-many relationship. So here, if I ask you that there is a relationship between project and consultant, where do you want to? Where do I need to create that field? Do I create a consultant field on project, or do I create a project field on consultant? What will be the answer? Where the connector should be? In this case, it was easy, right? Client and project. Client is parent, project is child. I created the field on the child object. So life was easy. Here,
So
one project can have
both
multiple
of them?
consultants and the other way
Both,
around.
right?
Tell me.
Will it be on both of them or just one of them? We'll have to create a relationship on both of them, right? Projects and consultants.
Yeah. So we actually cannot do relationship on both of them because that will not take us anywhere. So what we have to do basically is many-to-many relationship then is required.
We'll use master detail relationship.
No. Master detail is also a one-to-many relationship. So it's just like lookup. So here, we just have to think about another approach, which is called creating a third object. Okay, junction object, which is called a junction object. So you cannot go and create a field on this. You cannot go ahead and create a field on this. What you have to do is create a junction object. Okay, junction object is an object which will holds the relationships. Okay, so we talked about this yesterday, assignment. So when a particular consultant is working on a project, that is what a junction object is. Okay, one instance where a particular consultant is working on a particular project. Correct? So you will need to create one more object. So to deal with many-to-many relationship, you need to create one more object, and that object should be a child of both these. So if you see, there is a lookup to consultant, there is a lookup to project. which means this becomes a common child of project as well as consultant. Got this? So this is the thing. This is what we have to do. We just have to create a third object, and we'll have to make sure that there is a relationship field on this third object for each of the parent objects. So now project and consultant will be connected through this particular relationship object. So let's say there's a project ABCD, and that project is connected to the assignment, and that particular assignment is connected to a certain consultant, and that consultant is connected here. So this is a many-to-many relationship. Are we clear on this? Do we understand this? Very simple concept. I just want you to understand this one, because
Can you create one and then give us assignment on the other one?
I think this is what Anju might have done. Anju, you have done this?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you have done that.
I've done that. Okay.
Right. So it's just an object. See, I think yesterday while we were talking about data model, we have already talked about this. Any object which has two different objects as its parents is considered as the child object or the junction object, right? Correct. So this assignment object, if I look into this, it is a child of consultant as well as it's a child of project. So this is a junction object. Okay, it is connected to both the objects, which means it's a junction, right? That's it. So junction object is just a terminology, a fancy terminology that we are using. But if you see, look into this, this is just an object which is connected to both these parent objects. So if we look into this here, an assignment is an object which has a lookup from consultant. So what happens is, you do not have data in, have you entered some data into this? No?
No, just created the
Put some data.
object and relationship.
Okay. So I've created a few consultants. Let me create a few projects. Let's say there's a project A. Project B. Project C. D. Right. So now I have a few consultants and I have a few projects listed here, right? Through an assignment, what I do, I assign a certain project to a certain consultant. Let's say Sonu is working on project A. All right. Swati is also working on project A. So this is what I'm doing. I'm connecting multiple consultants to the same project.
You changed the project. You put it on project 2.
Did I?
No, you didn't.
Okay. Now what I've done, I have connected 3 people to the same project, right? So now if you go to projects, you will get to see, and if you open a project A and you scroll down here, you'll see these are the assignments and others, and these assignments are connected to different consultants, right? So A1 is connected to someone. So those consultants are connected to project, right? So multiple consultants connected to this project. At the same time, if there is one consultant who is working on multiple projects, again that can be done through assignment. Let's say I create a new one. Sonu has started working on project B also. So I can connect Sonu with project B, right? So this is how you can keep track of many to many data. So what you have to do, your life becomes very easy when you have a third object which just holds the relationship, which data is related to which data. For example, let's take another example. Let's say you have, you are a staffing company, recruiting company. You have a table where all the jobs are listed. You have another table where all the candidates or applicants are listed, right? Now one applicant can apply for multiple jobs and one job can be applied by multiple applicants, right? So in that case, what you'll have, again you'll have a many-to-many relationship. You understand the situation, right? Think about the situation if you're running a staffing company and you have a table where all the jobs are tracked, and if you have a table where all the applicants are tracked. Now one job can have multiple applicants and one applicant can apply for multiple jobs. Now in that case, what happens? You can have a junction object, that's a job application. Now if Sridhar applies for a Java developer job, then that becomes an application, right? So this third object holds all the information, all the relationships. So this concept is called junction object concept. Okay, so you don't have to do anything for a junction object. You just go ahead, create a junction object and make this object as child of both the parents, or in simpler words, create two lookup fields on this object, one for each parent. That's it. And it automatically creates that junction object for you, which can be used for tracking the relationship, many to many relationship. Clear? Anyone who has a question or doubt on this, please let me know. We are all good on this? Okay. Now there is one more field type which is called an auto number. You might have seen that. Auto number is used in case you do not want to manually enter some value, but you just want some series of numbers to be taken automatically by the records. So every new record you just wanted to pick a certain series of number. Let's say the projects should be project 001, project 002. So this is the series. Instead of putting a name to the project, you just want these numbers to be generated, right? So it's simple to do. You can work with this auto number. So it's a system generated value. For this, what you have to do, you just have to go to setup. I'm sure some of you might already have done this, but let's quickly have a look onto this. So let's say I will create auto number for projects. So I need to go to project object, and then I would need to go to new field. Auto number is also a field. Select auto number, go to next, project number. Let's say this is the thing. Okay. Now you have to give the display format. So display format is like this. So your auto number will have a static part and dynamic part, right? So static part should be outside the curly brackets. Dynamic part, the number part should be within the curly brackets, right? So in fact, this part is changing, right? 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2. The rest is all static, same, fixed. So fixed part, keep it outside the curly bracket. Define a start number. So you can start from 1, you can start from 59, whatever. Let's start from 1. Click on next. Okay, yeah, before that, there's an option which asks you whether you want to generate auto number for existing records, yes or no. So you just click on generate auto numbers for existing records, so that it creates auto number for all the existing records which are already there in the system. Make it visible here and just straight away go to next. Click on save. Okay.
I did it for the assignment ID too. It was also auto number.
Assignment ID. Okay, that's really good. Okay, I think did I say it was auto number? Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so there will be a lot of situations where it's not, there is no particular name for the record. Like every time giving a name to an assignment or giving a name to a certain thing becomes difficult. So you don't want the end user to unnecessarily sit and think of a name and then put it and give it a name. There are things where there will be a clear name, like client name. So client is an object where there is a clear name, but transactions and stuff like this will most of the times do not have a certain name. Okay, so it's always good to go with an auto number in those cases. It's difficult to give a name to the transaction and stuff, right? So you can give an auto number and then add a field called description, so that in case the end user has certain description to be attached to that particular record, he can do that. All right, clear on this? Okay. So that is basically about our auto number stuff. All right. So we have talked about the data model. We have talked about how components are created. We are going to talk a lot more about these things. I just want you guys to work on a small assignment, okay, which is so we have last two sessions we have talked about the application project management app. Okay, now there is a small activity that I want you to do. I want you to come up with the data model for an application of your choice. Okay, so this is going to be your assignment for today. I want you to come up with the data model. If possible, if you're done with the data model and if it looks good, create that application as well. Create the app on Salesforce as well. Okay, if possible. I'm not saying that definitely do that, but it will be great if you do that as well. Okay, so the idea is pretty simple. I just want you to think of an app from your side, out of your knowledge, out of what all things you have seen. We did it for project management app. There can be app for, we can design app for anything, right? To give you an example, you can think of an app for a certain anything, any business, right? Any kind of a business. It can be an inventory management system, it can be a recruiting system. As I told you, you can be tracking all the jobs and all the employees and all the candidates. There can be an interview management system, event management system. There can be a client management system which is already there in Salesforce, right? A property management system where as real estate consultant tries to manage his properties. So think about a concept. So there's something which is very important. I want you to think about a concept, think about the data model of that, okay, build it on Excel data model. If possible, if you're done with the data model and you still see that you have time and you're quite convinced with the kind of data model that you have designed, please go ahead and create the application on salesforce.com. Even if you're not convinced, go ahead and create. No one is going to stop you, right? But take out time, think of an application concept, think of a design concept, and then design it on your own, you know, at least on this part. Okay, so this is something that we did for project management, that you can do this much for anything. So think of the objects, fields, field types. Okay, this is something which is very important. The concept part, once you understand the concepts, once you start understanding what are the basic components which form an application, you will be able to work on any application, and you will be able to take care of any, you know, level of customization and stuff like that, right? So it's like, you know, how well you understand the structure of your application, the base of your application, right? So can we all work on this? Is it something which is which excites you a little? You think you are ready for this? Anyone who feels that no, cannot work, very difficult, not doable? Everyone is on this, right? So we can all work on it, right? So I just want you to pick your own concept. As I told you, I gave you a few examples, we discussed about them. So you can pick your own concept. Try to take a concept, try to take a scenario which you are aware of, right? A business scenario which you have a clear understanding on, okay? Because I understand, you know, you are new to Salesforce. So I just want you to pick a business scenario which you understand. If you understand the recruiting process, try to design it for that. If you understand project management system, try to design for that. If you understand something else, whatever domain, industry that you have knowledge on, attendance management system, whatever, right? So come up with those ideas with the schema design, with this data model design, at least on the Excel spreadsheet, if not on the app, right? So I think that's it today. You know, that's what we are going to discuss. Now I am assuming some of you had a few questions initially, right? Yeah, Navyata, it will be great if you try to design that app. Okay, so Atish says got the answer. Oh, really great. Okay, so anyone else, any other questions that we have from the session that we did today? We are all good? Okay. So that's good. So tomorrow once we meet, we are going to start talking on, what do you say, this data access control. Right now we have understood different components. The next thing that we are going to start talking is on the data access control part. So who will have control to the data, who will see the data, who will be able to delete the data and stuff like that. Not just data, other components also. Who gets to see what all components, who does not get to see, who can view the data, who can edit, who can delete, things like that, right? Because that's the next thing that is of a concern for any company. For example, if you talk about this application that we currently see on our screen, do you think everyone in the company will need to access all the data? No. Some people will just be restricted to projects, some people will just be restricted to clients. Again, for clients, there can be clients, as we have seen that we have clients from different locations, right? So there can be someone who is taking care of the Canada location. You don't want that Canada guy to look into the clients from India, right? So that is helpful from all the angles. The person who is dealing with the data, it's good for him. It's good for the company that they are not exposing too much of data to everyone, right? So that is something that we start discussing tomorrow in tomorrow's session, permissions and access. But I want everyone to come up with this application design concept as well. All right. So we will spend initial 5 to 10 minutes looking into what concepts you have come up with, and post that we will start our discussion on permissions and access controls. All right. All right. So that's good. So let's keep it till here. I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same meeting link. Thank you all. Bye.